Josh Klog has an extreme outside shot to sneak his way into the championship battle, despite missing 2 races this season. The Maryland driver won his 3rd race of the season last time out in Daytona, while points leader Josh Mertz came together with Bryan Sawyer on the first lap again, and this time finished last. Despite that, Cody Crosgrove still didn't gain any points on the Irishman. This circuit this week is a bit different, of course, normally designed for Pro 2 and Pro 4 trucks, but in NASA, of course we do things our own special way. With a different format, there are many unknowns this evening coming into the first round of the Area 52 Designs Endurance Cup. Names like Cody Erdman, Josh Mertz, Magnus Okenhagen, Josh Klog, among others, have won this championship in supercars, and the inaugural installment for Lites begins tonight. NASA Rallycross Lites from Michigan is next. Our venue for this evening is the virtual Bark River International Raceway. Opened in 1976, North American Simulated Auto Racing started visiting this circuit in 2021B, but this is the first visit of the Lites here. At 1.5 miles and 12 corners, 4 to the right and 8 to the left, the lap begins with the jump of turn 1 down a short straightaway to a sweeper of turns 2 and 3. Into the chicane of 4 and 5 and over the giant jump before turn 6, more whoops before turn 7 towards one of the trickiest jumps on the course before turn 8. We saw amazing racing in the final sector of turns 8 through 12 in supercars. Who can forget the photo finish between Luke Krause and Bodie Cryer a few seasons ago? Our format for the Area 52 Designs Endurance Cup is as follows. 17 cars will be split into 2 heat races running for 10 minutes, and the top 5 are awarded bonus points. All cars transfer through to the 30-minute feature race. It will have a rolling start, and pit stops are expected. The second season of NASA Rallycross Lites continues tonight on the Automotive Sports Network. With Bryan Sawyer in the production truck, my name is Josh Mertz, up in the commentary box as always, as we welcome you to Bark River, Michigan. Our coverage all season on ASN is brought to you by NordVPN, your gateway to online freedom and security. Protect your digital privacy with military-grade encryption, browse the web anonymously, and access your favorite content from anywhere in the world. Receive 63% off a 2-year plan at nordvpn.com/ASNTVUSA. Also, our cameras for the entire season are provided by TrackCams22.com, and our intro music was produced by our very own Alex Abetti. Coming into tonight's race in Bark River, the Drivers' Championship looks a little like this. Josh Mertz has held the blue plate all season long, defending champion car number 1 with 123 points over Cody Crosgrove with 112, Marcos Palacio 105, Josh Klog 99, Bryan Sawyer with 97, rounding out the top 5. We talked about in the opener, how can Klog almost win the championship? He missed 2 races. A full race is 28 points. Josh Mertz has 24 over Josh Klog. So if Mertz has another couple of terrible races, Klog might sneak his way into this championship. And the team's championship, TWR Struggle Bus with 214, Slapex with 201, JC Simsport with 198, and it is a great battle for 4th in that championship between 845 Subi and Zeem Setup Shop. They both sit on 81 points. Seating completed just a couple moments ago. Josh Klog, 1 minute 10.517. He is 2.5 tenths faster than Francois Martel. Bryan Sawyer, Brandon Lambert making his return, the inaugural champion in car number 46, and Eric Kaplinger in the top 5. One big note, Josh Mertz does have a qualification ban, I should say, coming from his incident with Hayden Loomis last week in Daytona, so the defending champion will grid last for the heat race here in Bark River, Michigan. Grid for heat number 1, Klog, Sawyer, Kaplinger, Palacio, Robichaux, Basset, DeFino, DiGiacomo, and Kirtley. Tracks pay homage to the original NASA Rallycross races on NASCAR 2003.
Have a good race, everybody. Good luck.
Might be wondering why we're running these cars on these tracks, but we'll find out together over the next hour. Klog and Sawyer, front row for heat number 1, green flag. off the line. Clog clears Sawyer. Over the jump, the TWR struggle bus cars side by side. Over the jump into turn 1. Sawyer in second. Palacio third. Kaplinger. Robichaux and DeFino making contact. Look like in the back of the field into turn number 2. Single file for the first couple spots. Bassett cuts the track in car number 2. In the back of the field, he's going to let everybody by. I think he got a slowdown in that number 2. Through the chicane of 4 and 5. Going to be a tricky spot all evening long. Clog leads Sawyer, leads Palacio over the big jump, down to turn 6 for the first time. Kaplinger, Robichaux, DeFino pointed towards the wall. He saved it in the 845. DiGiacomo, Kirtley, and Bassett. Through the whoops, around turn number 7. Another tricky jump here because when you take the jump, you can't spot the apex. So you'll have a lot of these guys hoping that they're aiming towards the left and not hitting the embankment on driver's left. As Clog leads Sawyer, leads Palacio as we round the final corner to end the first lap here in Bark River. Josh Clog, healthy lead over Bryan Sawyer. Palacio sits in the third spot, Kaplinger and Jake Robichaux. As we mentioned in the opener, all cars transfer. Palacio really squirrely through the final corner into the embankment in turn 1. Kaplinger trying to take the spot on his teammate. As top 5 will get bonus points, 3 down to 1. So to mimic the bonus points of the regular rallycross track. So Jake Robichaux holding that last bonus point in the 69. As Josh Clog, a second faster, 0.8 of a second faster, I should say, than Sawyer, as we still look at Robichaux. In the back, DeFino slides it off the track in the 845. He is back going again. Through the whoops, Clog rounds the corner. Sawyer about a car length, maybe a car length and a half between those two. Third gear, fourth gear over the jump. Send it to the left. Try not to hit the dip as you land these cars. And these cars don't have as much power as the supercars, so through this final section you will bottom out, and it's just a matter of if you'll get a good run. Sawyer clobbers the wall in the 88, and that takes the man from Wisconsin out of it, at least for a bonus point. Clog leads at the end of the second lap. Palacio now in second.
At 3 minutes.
Kaplinger third. Robichaux now fourth. Sawyer in the 5th spot. And it did...
Did it for real give you one?
Said that he cut the course, so we'll have to take a look and see what race control does to the 88. Palacio, Kaplinger, Robichaux, Sawyer, DiGiacomo, Bassett, Kirtley, and DeFino. As Clog enters the whoops once again and rounding turn number 7. His last lap was a 1 minute 11.026. Palacio, 1 minute 12.7.
Josh, what is the tactical advantage?
727.
Too late.
As Kaplinger in the 3rd spot. Robichaux and Sawyer.
Sandbagging.
As Grove mentioning over the radio along with Morissette. And Clog will take the 4th lap here in Bark River. That last lap, 1 minute 11.255, half a second up on Palacio in the 83. Kaplinger, 1 minute 12.0. Robichaux, 1 minute 12.3. Bryan Sawyer, 1 minute 11.754. DiGiacomo and Bassett battling for the 6th spot. It's not for points, and we mentioned it last week. The 845 Subi cars always battle like it's the end of the world, like it's for the race win, even if it's for the last spot in the race. And DeFino in the 845 struggling after a couple of those issues. And Robbie Kirtley having some audio issues in the 024. I don't think he can hear anything from his sim, so props to him. It's impossible to drive. Jake Robichaux, we missed it. He must have had an issue over the jump, and the man from Canada will come out in front of Robbie Kirtley, so he will fall from the 4th position. And now Kirtley trying to sneak in. That is for the 8th position. As Josh Clog pulled his gap a little bit further from Palacio, as Struggle Bus 2, 3, and 4 after Bryan Sawyer clobbered the wall in turn number 10. Bassett and DiGiacomo battling once again. Bassett takes the spot on DiGiacomo in the 2 versus the 55. as their last laps. Put it into perspective compared to the race leader, 1 minute 13.6 to a 1 minute 15.5. And it was actually a 14.6, so Basset was a second slower than he was on the previous lap. Lap 3, I should say, versus lap number 4. Clog was 0.6 up on Palacio that last time around. We still focus on this battle with DiGiacomo and Basset. They door bang, and over goes Basset in car number 2, rolling it across the track. Luckily, of course, there's no damage, as these rally cars would not take too kindly to these jumps, but Basset will be in the 9th position. I guess if there's a benefit for him, there is an inverted feature here in the Lights race, so he might have unexpectedly been given pole position for the feature, but we'll just have to wait and see. Just about over halfway here in this heat race. 10 minutes. We're looking at an estimate of about 9 laps as we begin lap number 6. Josh Clog was 0.4 up on Palacio that last time around, and he was a further 0.3 faster than Kaplinger that last time around. And Bryan Sawyer was nowhere close to Clog that last time around. The man from Wisconsin was half a second down on the man from Maryland. And Clog trying to make it 3 race wins in a row. Never been done in Lights. He was the first time that consecutive wins was done was last week through Atlanta and through Daytona. And just under a full race distance out of the points lead. So if, like we mentioned, something goes wrong with the points leaders, Clog might be able to sneak his way into a championship lead. And we've seen in the past cars and drivers potentially win a championship after missing 1 race. We have never seen a potential championship run despite missing 2 races in a season. Coming to 3 laps to go, roughly. Here in heat number 1, running order has not changed. Kaplinger was slower the last time around. We'll take a look when they refresh at this lap. It looks like he's closed on Palacio just a bit. Palacio over the line, 1 minute 13.1 to a 12.0 for Kaplinger. And to put the other TWR struggle bus car into the picture, 12.3 for Sawyer. We'll keep an eye on the 845 Subi cars, DiGiacomo and DeFino. Like I mentioned earlier, when DiGiacomo was battling Basset, now it's the teammates, and you have not seen anything like this, the way these teammates battle, except for maybe Revolution Racing about 5 years ago. Chris Wetz and Dylan Livingood always raced like it was for the race win, even if it was for last, and these guys certainly do the same thing. DeFino overjumped, missed the line in the 845. Not missing anything in the back of the field, so we'll pay attention to this. It's Robichaux, Kirtley, and Basset, 7th through 9th, as Robichaux had an issue over the jump. DeFino had a much better run through the 4 and 5 chicane compared to DiGiacomo. Over the jump once again. DiGiacomo into the wall, across the track, and nearly gets hit by Sawyer in the 88. So that'll give him a penalty. Francois Martel comes across the text chat and says LOL in all caps, as I'm surprised that it took that long for something to happen, as it was talked about before the race that
please get off track.
something could potentially happen, and luckily it didn't. And Francois says almost had face-to-face contact, as very true. I think we're going to get the white flag this next time around for Josh Clog. He was a second faster than Marcos Palacio, and Palacio, he is being held on to by Kaplinger. Kaplinger matched his lap time that last time around, so impressive run from the man from Illinois. Didn't run in Atlanta due to those setup issues. He had a disagreement with race control about the picking of the race setup, as remember, the Beetle Lights do have a fixed setup here in NASA Rallycross Lights. And Bryan Sawyer, half a second up on his teammates, but he might run out of time. We do have 2 cars in the pit lane, Jake Robichaux and Joseph DiGiacomo. Not sure what happened to the elder Robichaux in the 69, but he will grid in the front of the field unintentionally in the feature race. Time's going to give us the white flag here in heat number 1 for Josh Clog. Over the jump, 1 minute 11.245. We'll take a look at Palacio over the line, the Argentine. Winner in Charlotte last season and in Hell this season in Norway, 1 minute 11.871. Kaplinger, 1 minute 12.2. Sawyer, 11.8. We take a look at DeFino in the 845, rolling it over the jump once again. as he gets passed by Robichaux, not for position, but the 845 Subi cars not having a great day in heat number 1. And Robbie Kirtley still trucking along here in the 024 despite not having any audio. As Clog's got half a lap. What would be pole position is not pole position. For the first time ever, we have the inverted grid here in NASA Rallycross. And I'm not sure how that's going to work, to be honest. With the slow guys, and no disrespect to them, being up front, will they create a roadblock, or will they be nice and cordial through the first couple corners? We still have another heat race left, but Josh Clog rounds the final corner, scores those 3 bonus points, and wins heat number 1 here in Bark River. As Marcos Palacio off the final corner, looks like he will hold the spot over his teammate Kaplinger, as Kaplinger will be 3rd. Sawyer recovered to 4th after drilling the wall. And then the last of the point scorers, it's going to be a while, but Gerald DeFino.
Kicks you out. I don't know what's happening.
Race control has no idea what's going on in true NASA fashion.
I don't know if the race
And
is over or
DeFino.
not.
DeFino's going to be this last car.
The last car that crosses the finish.
Perfect. Okay.
Last car to score points. Will it be DeFino? Off the final corner. Takes the spot. As 6th place, Robbie Kirtley. 7th place will be Matthew Bisset. 8th, Jake Robichaux. And 9th, Joseph DiGiacomo. Robbie Kirtley says, "You are a censored word." I'm not sure if that was intentional or if he had a keybind to it, but not sure what's happening as we get ready for heat number 2. Our grid, Francois Martel. Inaugural NASA Rallycross Challenge champion Brandon Lambert has returned to the series in the 46. Cody Crosgrove, Joey Morissette, Matthew Grove, Eric Dubois, Olivier Rateau, and championship leader Josh Mertz, car number 1, at the back of the grid. 8 cars and another 10 laps here in Bark River in Michigan. Curious to see what'll happen with car number 1. Will he be caught in traffic, or will he make his way through the field? In practice, it was a slugfest between him, Francois Martel, and Josh Clog for the fastest lap. And a lot like Daytona last week, it was that close. Half a tenth of a second in practice between the 1 and the 199. Francois Martel on the front row. Brandon Lambert, of course, former champion of the series in 2012A, in NASA Supercars, I should say. Making his return for the first time in a couple seasons. I do believe he ran, I think it was 2022A or 22B before all the fallout occurred. And he left the series for a while. Glad to see the man from Alabama back in the series. Safety truck off into the pit lane. We do hold safety car speed until the green flag. So 40 miles an hour in the hands of Francois Martel. And the French-Canadian trying to get the track time and look forward to the Supercar Championship run that he's on, holding the red plate in the Ford Fiesta in that series. 8 cars, 10 minutes, top 5 get bonus points, and everybody's packed up, getting ready to go for heat number 2 here in Michigan. Green flag. Off the line. Martel clears Lambert. Contact with Crosgrove and Lambert over the first jump. Morissette and Grove into the first corner. Grove hits the berm. Sideways in the 472. Olivier Rateau letting the field by. Mertz doesn't care. Goes by Dubois. Sneaking in on his teammate Morissette in the 85. Rounding turn number 3 into the 4 and 5 chicane over the first jump. Second jump, you have to pray that you have your car pointed in the right direction. Lambert hits the berm. Morissette hits the berm. Morissette comes out worse than Lambert. Mertz sneaks through to 3rd. So the man from Kansas in the back of the field in the 85. Martel leads Crosgrove, who hits the berm. So does Mertz. Dubois trying to sneak in the 034 on car number 1. Lambert messy over the whoops there in the 46. Rateau, Grove, and Morissette's back going a long way behind Matty Grove in the 472. Crosgrove hanging on to the rear wing of Martel in the 12 is the 18. Defending Supercar Sportsman champion is Crosgrove in the 18. And second in points here in NASA Rallycross Lites At the end of the first lap, Francois Martel will lead Cosgrove and lead Mertz. We talked about just a few minutes ago, how long will it take car number 1 to get up to potentially points paying positions? Well, it took him 3 corners, so we'll just have to wait and see. Interesting line that car number 1 is running. It's still dirt, as I know during practice, Bryan Sawyer making fun of car number 1's racing line. And we talked about last week where car number 1, the track limits rule was created because of him. And just another point where it's still dirt. You can still race on it. Just don't run all 4 off. One car in the back, it's Lambert into the fence in the 46, spectacularly crashing for Penguin RC Racing, not having the best of heat races. Martel, Cosgrove, Mertz, Dubois, Grove, Rateau, Lambert, and Morissette. Dubois off the track in the 034. Back on track. He is ahead of Matty Grove in the 472. Martel looks like he hit the wall in the 12. And Cosgrove holding this spot, but he did lose some time. The last lap, 1 minute 11.9, 1 minute 12.1, 1 minute 10.954 for car number 1. Looking to try and get all the bonus points he can. He is all over the rear wing of Cosgrove in the 18. Back of the field has not changed. We ride on board car number 1, trying to take the second spot from Cosgrove. A little bit messy from Cosgrove through the second phase of the chicane, over the jump and heading to turn 6. And down into the corner, down to third gear, maybe second, depending on how you get through the corner. Third through the whoops, modulate the throttle. Third gear through the sweeper of turn 7. Maybe into fourth if you don't want to run third too far, but it just depends on your line as we ride on board Cosgrove, looking back at car number 1. Cosgrove running defensive, parking it on the apex in front of the 1. Martel loves this in the 12. He's out and away. Mertz slips and runs over the berm in car number 1. Again, we're looking at an estimation of 8 laps here in this heat race. Martel takes the third lap to end the third lap, 1 minute 10.8. So Mertz 1 minute 13.4. Lost the second to Cosgrove that last lap, and he's losing time to Martel. I don't know if he'll be able to get to Martel if he dispatches Cosgrove. We'll just have to wait and see. Not missing anything in the back of the field. Grove, Dubois, Rateau, Lambert, and Morissette. As Martel in the 4 and 5 chicane, over from the race lead. And the French-Canadian is out of the park. And he will start, ironically, from pole position. And once again, another mistake from one of the fast guys. Bryan Sawyer had that same issue, but this time Martel won't be able to recover. Taking a look off monitor, Eric Dubois has crashed in that same complex in 4 and 5, back on track. The man from Maine. So now, Cody Cosgrove leads. According to our estimation, I think we're looking at 9 laps. So I had that timing incorrect. So Cosgrove's going to end the 4th lap ahead of Mertz, ahead of Grove, ahead of, it looks like, Lambert, Rateau, Dubois. So running order has shifted all over the track, and this is going to be a good little battle. Last lap for Cosgrove, 111.8. Mertz, 111.5. So will car number 1 be able to take this spot? And I'd almost think, do you want to take this spot? Because you gain the extra, you don't gain any extra bonus points. You actually lose a spot on gridding. But knowing car number 1, he just wants to have his name in the record books as winning a heat race. So I don't think he's thinking about that just now. So we'll expect some fireworks for this heat race win as Cosgrove, decent gap, make it maybe 5-6 car lengths from Cosgrove to Mertz. Matty Grove sits in the 3rd spot. Lambert 4th. 5th is Olivier Rateau. So the elder Rateau sits in the 5th spot, holding a bonus point in that 63. Matty Grove had an issue through turn 8, back on track in the 472, ran it a little wide. Lambert on 2 wheels over the berm into the inside of the track. Rateau, Dubois, Morissette, and Martel back on track in the 12. At the end of lap number 5 for the race leaders, Cosgrove 111.6, 111.9 for Mertz in car number 1. Matty Grove sits in the third spot. Lambert in fourth. Rateau in fifth. That running order has not changed. Let's ride on board car number 1 for a lap or so and take in the sights and sounds here in Bark River. I wish I had a moment to, because Cody Crosgrove through the chicane had a mistake in the 18. Over the jump, Mertz sends it. Crosgrove holds the inside. Battle for the lead. Crosgrove won't give up. They door bang in the 18 and the 1. Through the whoops. Crosgrove comes across on car number 1 to block the move. Crosgrove holds the spot. Not missing anything in the back of the field. Grove holds third. Then it's Lambert and Rateau. I don't think Mertz will take too kindly to that late maneuver on Crosgrove. Will he send it on the 18? Car length between them. Third gear through the sweeper of turn 8. Into 9. Into 10, 11, 12 to complete the lap. Crosgrove holds the lead. Mertz sits in second. 2 car lengths between them. Maybe make it 1.5. Maybe make it 1. As we cross the line to end lap 6. 1 minute 13.7 to a 12.4. Both of them had mistakes over that last lap. Running drivers left is Mertz, trying to avoid one of those whoops, and it is benefiting him, carrying more speed into turns 2 and 3. Wider line, down to the apex. Crosgrove holds the lead, about 3-4 car lengths between them. Over the first jump, over the second. Crosgrove had the mistake here. Car width away from the berm this time is the 18. Over the jump, down to turn number 6. Running order has not changed. In the back of the field, Crosgrove wide by about 2 car widths. Off the apex, through the whoops. So hard to get these whoops right, especially in these cars. Mertz looks to the inside. Better run through the corner. We ride on board Crosgrove, looking back at car number 1. No gap between them. It's now a car length and a half. Make it 2. Over the jump, down to turn number 8. Will Mertz send it again? Couple laps to go. It looks like the estimation is looking. Crosgrove closes the door on car number 1. Car length between them. It's just a matter of where can car number 1 pass. It's so hard to make a pass. Crosgrove, bad luck through the whoops, side by side once again. Crosgrove powers off. Contact nearly between them over the jump again. 12.2 to an 11.7. 4/10 up that last lap. Will Mertz use his signature line on the straightaway? Crosgrove comes across to defend and nearly takes the 1 out. Looks like they made contact between them. And Crosgrove holds the spot. Car number 1 comes over the radio making a comment. Crosgrove hits the berm again. Here comes the 1. Has no place to go on Cody Crosgrove again over the jump. Side by side this time. Crosgrove shoves him off. Leaves him just a bit of room. Such respectful racing as we ride on board car number 1 through the whoops. 1, 2, and 3. Holding third gear. Wrestling the car. Car width off the apex. And the estimation looks like we're going to get 1 more lap coming to the white flag here in heat number 2. Will Mertz give up, or will he still try and go for this heat race win? Running order has not changed in the back of the field. Grove, Lambert, and Rateau. Martel has flipped it again in the 12, goes from bad to worse, and he will for sure grid, maybe not first, I'm not sure what'll happen, as we take the white flag here in Bark River. Crosgrove leads Mertz by 0.6 of a second that last time around. And not sure what's going on between those guys. Crosgrove had a crazy defense on that straightaway the previous lap. And the gap is gaining. Grove, Lambert, and Rateau. We're looking at off monitor, Olivier Rateau and Eric Dubois battling for the 5th spot. Going to try and keep an eye on both, of course, as Mertz peeks to the inside of Crosgrove. Those two are going to be battling for a bonus point for 5th. So we'll just try and keep an eye while we can. Up front, Crosgrove and Mertz, that running order has not changed. Car length and a half between them. The battle actually might have subsided for the 5th spot as we pay attention to the race leaders. 1 last chance for car number 1 to send it. I don't think he'll be able to make the run. Crosgrove, better line through the corner. Last chance depending on how you run your line. Crosgrove leads Mertz. Bad bounce for the 18. Can Mertz rally on the outside? He can't. Crosgrove wins Heat 2 ahead of the defending champion. Mertz will finish 2nd. Matty Grove quietly running in the 3rd spot.
I gave you like 3 chances, dude. If you were going to block me again, you're going to be in trouble. Good race.
Grove third, Lambert fourth. Not happy as car number 1. And the battle for 5th continuing. We've got a couple corners left for Olivier Rateau and Eric Dubois. Dubois tries to do a wider line. Rateau gets hung up on the berms. Will that be a track cut for Dubois? It doesn't matter because Rateau will sneak through. This is the battle for the last bonus point across the line. Dubois surges and takes the spot from Olivier Rateau, who comes home in 6th. 7th is Joey Morissette, and 8th is Francois Martel, as qualifying is done and dusted here at Bark River, and the feature race is up next.
You're so interesting.
I love your browser history.
I like that you're not hiding anything from me.
By the way, nice IP address. I like your neighborhood.
You are so special. This ad is just for you.
I learned so many things from you.
You are so generous.
With your personal data.
Switch on privacy, switch off trackers and viruses. Go to nordvpn.com. NordVPN. Safely be you.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Side nearly 3 wide of Met and Palacio. Front bumper of Betty down to turn 2. Clog takes the lead. Rill still has him jokered inside. Clog on McKenna. Contact between them. Well, Romain Rateau has led all evening long, but Schofield to the inside, and he makes it stick. Funny story about Bryan Sawyer. He showed up to the track 5 minutes ago with 0 practice, and each lap increasing in pace for the man from Wisconsin. Mertz deep on the brakes in the 812, clobbering the curve to get by Olivier Rateau. We welcome you back to round 11 of the championship overall and round 7 of the second season of NASA Rallycross Lites here in Bark River, Michigan. With Bryan Sawyer on the production truck, my name is Josh Mertz, up in the commentary box, as always, on the Automotive Sports Network. Just a reminder, our coverage tonight was brought to you by NordVPN. For up to 63% off a 2-year plan, visit nordvpn.com/ASNTVUSA. Also, our cameras for the entire season are provided by TrackCams22.com. Grid for the feature here in Bark River. Front row, Joseph DiGiacomo and Francois Martel tentatively, although we think he's going to be sent to the back of the field. Jake Robichaux, Olivier Rateau, Matthew Bisset, Joey Morissette, Robbie Kirtley, Eric Dubois, Gerald DeFino, Brandon Lambert, Bryan Sawyer, Matthew Grove, Eric Kaplinger, Josh Mertz, Marcos Palacio, Cody Cosgrove, and Josh Clogg. Just a couple programming notes before we get rolling here in Bark River. Round 8 of the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge. Round 8 in Iowa. We thought the radio communication was working. It's not. So that's August 7th, 9 p.m. Eastern on ASN Live. The Woven by Toyota NASA Sports Car Challenge will be at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, August 10th. ASN Live, 9 p.m. Eastern. Myself, Justin Robichaux, Bryan Sawyer for that one. And our next round for NASA Rallycross Lites, round 8 in Iowa, Saturday, August 12th, 9 p.m. Eastern on ASN On Demand. Sorry about the little silence for a minute there. I thought our radio was working. I don't think our radio is working anymore. In true ASN fashion, it just decides to be broken. So we are gritting and getting ready to go. So Francois is going to be at the back of the field. So the grid portion that I mentioned with him being second, invalid. He will be at the back of the field. Safety truck is off. So if you like what you see, NASASimRacing.com if you'd like to join. And we do have streams on Monday, Thursday, and Saturday here on the Automotive Sports Network with Francois at the back of the field. The field's going to be in the hands of Joseph DiGiacomo and Olivier Rateau in the 55 and the 63, as Jake Robichaux in the third spot. Thanks for joining us here on the Automotive Sports Network as 17 cars are about to go green for 30 minutes here in Bark River in Michigan. Green flag off the line. Rateau gets smoked by Bisset and Morissette. Over the jump, Kirtley, DeFino in the 845, Dubois in the 034, Sawyer, Lambert, Kaplinger, Grove, contact Clogg over in the 199, and he rolls it. He had contact with Marcos Palacio into the corner. One car around. It's one of the 845 Sumi cars. It's DeFino. Dubois around as well. So is Lambert. So is Sawyer. DeFino in the back trying to make his way through the chicane. Morissette contact with Rateau, contact with Kaplinger, contact with Sawyer. Everybody coming together through turns 4 and 5. Over the jump, we've got 6 cars under a blanket. Mertz lands on Kaplinger to the inside of DiGiacomo in the 55. Martel in this mix as well. We're 3 wide. Mertz gets tagged by Martel. Side by side. The 1 versus the 12. Leading is Robichaux and Bisset in the 69 and the 2. Mertz in third. Francois Martel in the 4th spot. DiGiacomo falls from the lead down to 5th. Not a bad spot so far. It could be worse, like a couple of others. Kaplinger, DeFino, Grove, Kirtley, Cosgrove, Rateau, Lambert, Sawyer, door bangs. 1 car around. It's Martel. Parking lot in the final sector. It's Bisset parked in the middle of the track. Gets hit by Palacio. As still everybody coming together. 1 car around again. It's Kirtley in the 024. Over the jump to end the first lap. Calamity, I should say, between all these cars. Contact with Rateau and Sawyer. Sawyer saves it, so does Rateau. The Slapex cars battling DiGiacomo. Clogg in the 199, passing Lambert in the 46. And Clogg, defending champion of supercars. Lambert, the inaugural champion of supercars, as the Slapex cars right in front of them, battling, not missing anything up front. Robichaux, Mertz, Kaplinger on the 277, hits the wall. He crosses the track nearly. Slapex cars tandem drafting into the corner, 3 wide through the whoops. Grove on driver's left. To the right is Cosgrove. DiGiacomo might be stuck in the middle of these 2 Slapex cars as everybody's under a blanket from third on back. Over the jump. Cosgrove and Grove still side by side. Kaplinger loves this if something goes wrong. Lambert, Clogg, there, and Sawyer. Clogg gives Lambert a little nudge in the 46 from the 199. Third on back. They're all stuck together because DiGiacomo in the 55 holding everybody up, and you can't really pass here unless you force a move through. Kaplinger ping-ponging off his teammate. Over the jump. Kaplinger gets nudged by Lambert. Clogg in between the Slapex cars. Sawyer looking to driver's left on Grove in the 472. Back of the field, running order has not changed. One car off. It's DeFino as we ride on board Bryan Sawyer in the 88, using up Matty Grove on corner exit. Clog contact with Crosgrove in the 18. Clog saves it for a moment. The Slapex cars come together. Seas have parted for Bryan Sawyer. He takes the spot. Lambert back on track in the 46. Real quick running order update. Robichaux still leads Mertz, DiGiacomo, Sawyer, and Clog, after dying in the first corner, still holds the spot. Rateau spins off the nose of Lambert. Morissette having a bad race. DeFino gets by Rateau, recovering in the 63, in the 845, I should say. Grove battling DeFino in the 845. Kirtley waiting for something to happen. We focus on Sawyer in the 88. Ahead of Clog in the 199, still trying to dispatch DiGiacomo in the 55. Mertz stalking the 69 of Robichaux up front. We're not missing anything there as we begin lap number 4 here in Bark River. In the back of the field, it is an incredible battle from DeFino and Rateau. We look there as we also have a battle up front. Sawyer takes the spot on DiGiacomo. DiGiacomo parks on the apex in front of Josh Clog. They nearly come together. Clog looks to the outside, driver's right, takes the spot on DiGiacomo. Now, these two, some of the fastest guys here, we know of this from the past races. Will they squabble amongst themselves, or will they focus on trying to catch the leaders considerably up the road from them? Sawyer and Clog come together again. I don't think they're going to work together and try and catch the race leaders. I think they're going to be battling for each other. 1 minute 12.3 the last lap for Sawyer. 1 minute 12.9 for Clog that last lap. Kaplinger 14.0, DiGiacomo 13.3. Mertz has gotten by Robichaux for the race lead, and that is not what Clog and Sawyer want to see as the defending champion up front. 2 consecutive weeks where the defending champion had bad luck in turn 1, whether it was himself or self-inflicted or from another driver, as these guys nearly come together over the start-finish jump again. Through turn 1, let's ride on board Bryan Sawyer for a lap and watch this battle unfold. Couple things that happened during this onboard section. We looked, Jake Robichaux had an issue in the turns 4 and 5 chicane, so the man from Canada is out of the second spot. That gives the clear track to Josh Clog to try and catch our race leader, Josh Mertz. Sawyer sits in the third spot. Crosgrove, DiGiacomo, Palacio. DiGiacomo is doing a great job at holding the 5th spot. Palacio hounding him in the 55 is the 83. Takes the spot, over, under. DiGiacomo, will he have the power off the corner? Looks like he will until he hits the berm or the bump wrong there. Palacio will take the spot. Lambert 7th. 8th is Kaplinger. Does Lambert have a slowdown in the 46? Not sure. Grove and Morissette rounding out the top 10. So pit stops will be needed at some point in this race, and it's just a matter of how long you can stretch your fuel with the fixed setup. You can't do anything to your car setup during the race, so all you can do is take fuel. You might take tires depending on if you feel that it's necessary, but a lot of the guys we're talking about during the race, tires aren't really needed. Sawyer has crashed over the jump in the 88. Not sure what happened there, so he is out from the 3rd spot. Clog now has no pressure for 2nd to try and hound car number 1 for this race lead. He was 2/10 up that last lap. As we take a look at Marcos Palacio battling Crosgrove in the 18. And this is now for the 3rd spot on the podium. 1 minute 12.0 for Mertz. 1 minute 10.6 for Clog. Clog trying to take the gap away from the 1 to the 199. Crosgrove 1 minute 12.9. Palacio 0.8 of a second up that last time around against the 18 of Crosgrove. There's another battle brewing. Matthew Grove, Joey Morissette, Bryan Sawyer. these three. Doesn't look like it right now, but I have a feeling that they're going to come together at some point. Lap times, the differentiation. Morissette was half a second up on Grove. We know how quick Bryan Sawyer is after the mistake past turn 5, between 5 and 6, I should say. So will the Wisconsin native make his way through the field? We'll just have to wait and see, of course. Taking a look at the back of the shot, DeFino angled very nastily, if that's even a word. I thought he was going to hit the berm in the 8:45. Update on Jake Robichaux. He's back on track in the 69, but he is off the lead lap, I do believe. As through the field so far, Morissette in the 85, passed by Sawyer in the 88. As JC Simsport only has the 2 cars this evening, and Morissette languishing down the order in the sister JC Simsport car while his teammate leads the race. Grove holds the spot for now over Sawyer. And Grove, car length between them, but Sawyer should have this spot in the next lap or so, just judging off the pace differential. Crossing the start-finish line, 1 minute 13.1 to an 11.5, Grove versus Sawyer. Lap time up front, it was 2/10. Mertz was 2/10 down on Clog the last lap. Sawyer takes the spot. Grove looks to the inside. Grove is well aware of the over-under in his arena cross experience. We forget about that with Matty Grove. Certainly knows how to get the job done there, and he holds the spot for now over Bryan Sawyer. And he's gapped him by 2, maybe 3 car lengths from the 472 to the 88. Morissette right behind them in the 10th spot. DeFino, Basset, Robichaux off the lead lap. Running order in the back of the field has not changed. Mertz has run an 11.1 yet again. We look off monitor at Clog finishing his lap in the 199. 11.0. We look at Kaplinger versus Giacomo, there, in the 55 and the 277. Kaplinger backs up the corner to get the better run off, has the inside, takes the spot for the moment on DiGiacomo. Will Lambert sneak into this picture as well, the inaugural champion of NASA Rallycross, couple car lengths from DiGiacomo. And Kaplinger was a second and a half faster than DiGiacomo that last time around as we begin lap number 9. Clog was a 10th down on Mertz the last lap. Cosgrove 2/10 down on Clog, or 3/10 down, I should say, on Clog. DiGiacomo gets passed by Lambert. They're going to be side by side exiting 3, across the whoop through 4. Lambert lets him have it. He's been around for long enough to know you don't force the issue when you really have the opportunity in a wide corner such as this. Instead of the chicane, I should say, will he look to the outside? The man who's won 5 races in NASA Rallycross Supercars, but it has been since 2014A in Valkenswaard, a long time ago for the Alabama native. Gets hit by DiGiacomo, commentator's curse, and the inaugural champion is around off the front bumper of the 55. DiGiacomo pulling over to the side of the track. Not sure if he's going to let Lambert through or not. We'll just have to wait and see. Remember the gentleman's rule in NASA Sim Racing. Update on the leaders. Clog is half a second faster than Mertz the last time around as they began lap number 10. I don't know if DiGiacomo's going to let Lambert by. Doesn't look like he will. 3rd place, Cosgrove, still holding the 3rd spot on the podium. Palacio 4th. 5th is Kaplinger. And the fuel tanks might be running dry here shortly. We'll just have to wait and see when pit stops are beginning to unravel. And I can't believe that Josh Clog has made his way through the field after crashing on lap 1. Palacio deep on the brakes in turn 6. Into 7. Cosgrove 2-wheeling it, leaves the door open for Palacio, the Canadian versus the Argentine. Cosgrove won heat number 2 earlier on. Palacio half a car length back over the jump. Into turn 8, into turn 9. Will Palacio over under the Canadian in the corner through 10, 11, and 12, the final sector. Multiple grooves. If you're brave enough, you can run the berm on the outside on driver's right, but you might get sucked into that further berm on the right and into the wall on the in the corner there, and that won't be a very good time at all. Lap time update for the race leaders. Mertz has given up nearly 2 seconds that last lap. It was a 1 minute 12.8 to a 1 minute 11.0 for Josh Clog. Cosgrove and Palacio still battling for 3rd. Half a second between them was the lap time difference that last time, and there's a car length between them again. Kaplinger holds the 5th spot. Sawyer's recovered to 6th. Grove in 7th. Morissette in 8th. 9th, DeFino. 10th is DiGiacomo. 11th Lambert after getting spun. Off the road is DeFino in the 845, comes across. Doesn't affect any cars, but here comes his teammate DiGiacomo in the 55. Remember, if you like what you see, as the teammates come together, interrupting my promo bit here, we'll just wait for them to sort this battle out. DiGiacomo and DeFino and Lambert battling for the 9th spot. DiGiacomo holds it. 2 car lengths between him and his teammate. Over the jump. Car length between DeFino and Lambert. Into turn number 6. Way wide and into the fence goes DiGiacomo in the 55. This will open up the door for DeFino to hold the spot over to Lambert. Lambert half a car length. Make it a car length. Make it maybe 2. DeFino got a better run off the corner. And he holds the spot. If you like what you see, remember to like and subscribe here on the Automotive Sports Network. Content on Monday, live on Mondays, live on Thursday. We do have these on-demand streams on Saturday for Rallycross Lites. For third, there is no change. Lambert has looped it in the 46. He's back on track now. Gets passed by Matthew Basset in car number 2. Back up front, we were just about to mention this battle between Cosgrove and Palacio. As last time around, Palacio 3/10 up on Cosgrove, runs it wide, side by side through the whoops. Will this give Palacio what he needs? Doesn't look like he will, as Cosgrove will hold the spot unless he leaves the door open for Palacio through the corner. He does not. It's Palacio car length between them. As Cosgrove, bad bounce, 2 wheels, loses the spot to Palacio in the 83. So that puts the Argentine up to the 3rd spot. And now this is going to, as we look up front really quick, this is going to put Mertz in lap traffic for the first time in this race. He was 3/10 up on Clog that last time around. Coming up to lap Eric Dubois. Dubois runs off the track in the 034. Where is Clog in relation to Dubois? I don't think he's going to hit him just yet. Next car up is Kirtley. Then it's Olivier Rateau. Then it's a long gap until Brandon Lambert in the 46. But car number 1, after sneaking his way through on that first lap and then making his way through the upper placings, still holds the lead. Relatively calm through the field so far. Let's ride on board car number 1 and enjoy the track here in Bark River. Update for Clog. He's stuck on the wall in the 199. Took a look through the field. He had an issue through the whoops, and he's hemorrhaged time. He's going to pit now in the 199. So pit stops beginning. Palacio pits. Cosgrove pits. Will Kaplinger pit in the 277? He does not. Sawyer does not. So all these 3 are pitting. Kirtley has returned to the pit lane. I think he had an issue in the 024. Clog exits the pit lane. Matty Grove pits as well in the 472. Exiting the pit lane is Clog. Mertz is rounding. Turns 2 and 3, heading to the 4 and 5 chicane. Clog comes out behind Mertz's teammate Morissette in the 85. Will Morissette have some gamesmanship for Clog, or does he even know the battle for the race lead is between Clog and his teammate? Clog, bad bounce through the whoops. Rounding turn 12, takes the spot on Morissette. I expect car number 1 to respond this time around. Rounding turn 7, and the race leader pits, defending champion. Car number 1 will head to the pit lane. Very conservative on pit lane entry, 23 miles an hour when it's a 30 mile an hour pit lane delta. So let's take a look and see who will this put through to the lead. I don't know if Kaplinger will have the pace, so Mertz might be able to hold this lead. Cosgrove still in the pit lane. It looks like he took tires in the 18. Kaplinger will not take the lead. Mertz holds the lead through the pit lane exchange. Cosgrove follows him out. Sawyer pits in the 88, following his teammate Kaplinger. They will shuffle back. And Clog looks like will take the 2nd spot back in the 199. This puts Morissette up the order in the 85. I believe the 85 pitted early. If we take a look, actually, I don't believe he has pitted yet, so he's off strategy in the 85. Thought he pitted earlier, my mistake there. So let's get an updated running order. Once we cross the line, we know Mertz is leading. Clog 2nd, Morissette off strategy in 3rd, Kaplinger 4th, Sawyer in 5th, Palacio 6th. DiGiacomo cuts the track, he's in 7th. And it looks like 8th, it'll be DeFino in the 845, ahead of Lambert, ahead of Grove. as the pit stops beginning to unravel. Olivier Rateau actually will sneak into the 9th spot, as Kirtley still in the pit lane, Dubois in the pit lane as well. The Zeem Setup Shop cars not having a good day compared to the Slapex cars or the JC Simsport cars in that championship. As Sawyer issues through the 4 and 5 chicane, Palacio will take the spot on his teammate, jumping past over him in the 83 versus the 88. DiGiacomo in the 7th spot. DeFino in 8th, Rateau in 9th, Lambert in 10th. So that running order has been shuffled around. Kirtley exits the pit lane as we take a look through the field. To end lap number 15, we're getting an estimation of 25 laps here in Bark River. And Josh Clogg, hemorrhage time after that incident in turn number 7. And the defending Supercar champion has to pull something out of the hat to make it close to take a 3rd consecutive victory. The struggle bus cars are battling for the 5th spot between Palacio and Sawyer. Our radio feed is broken. I only see the little light ups from Marcos Palacio, and I can assume he's giggling over the radio like he normally does when something crazy happens. Sawyer way out drivers left. Remember, legal, it is track limits, all good. Utilizing all of the road. Over is Kirtley in the 024 as we flick through the field, and the man from Virginia was in the back of the field, and he is turtled for Zeem Setup Shop on his 14th lap of the race. Morissette yet to pit in the 85. He sits in the 3rd spot. Cosgrove took tires. He is out of the contention for the race lead, and Morissette will pit in the 85 and relinquish the 3rd spot for JC Simsport. This puts Kaplinger in 3rd, Palacio and Sawyer 3rd through 5th. So the struggle bus having a wonderful race, and it's going to be a brawl for this last podium spot between them. And like I said, estimation of 25 laps, so just halfway through this race. So now that the pit strategy has unraveled, Mertz passes DiGiacomo to put him a lap down. Mertz leads ahead of Clogg, ahead of Kaplinger, Palacio, Sawyer, Morissette back on track in the 6th spot, DeFino, and that's the only car left on the lead lap, I think, unless, Lambert in the 8th spot. Basset will be 9th, it looks like. And these struggle bus cars still battling. Kaplinger gets passed by Palacio and by Sawyer. And it doesn't matter for what position. We talk about the 845 cars. Let me tell you about the struggle bus cars. They don't care about where they're at. They're going to have a hell of a battle regardless of what spot it is. Sawyer looks to driver's left on the outside. Long way around through the corner. Couldn't make anything happen on Palacio. Palacio messy through the whoops. Sawyer sneaks to the inside, smells the gap. Palacio leaves the door wide open. Writes him a formal invitation for Bryan Sawyer to take the spot. And the man from Wisconsin almost defending over the jump against his teammate. Kaplinger trying to hang with Palacio and Sawyer. Palacio surges on the corner entry.
Thank you.
And these two still battling. Palacio gives him a little nudge in the 83 against the 88. Mertz over the jump between 5 and 6, just to put it into perspective, and these guys are just crossing the start-finish line to begin their 18th lap. Mertz leads. Clogg 2nd. 3rd is Sawyer. 4th is Palacio. 5th is Kaplinger. 6th is Morissette. 7th DeFino. 8th is Lambert. 9th is Basset. And 10th is Matty Grove, who is about to be lapped by our race leader. One car off the track, it's Kirtley in the 024. He's going to hold up Grove. Will he get out of the way and obey blue flags? He will for the 472 and for car number 1. That is a pass for position, though, from Robichaux to Kirtley, I do believe. So Jake Robichaux says, thank you very much. I'll take that. And unless anything catastrophic happens, car number 1, comfortable lead compared to Josh Clogg after all the mistakes that have been had. As Clogg, put it into perspective, we take a look at Mertz on screen into turn 2. Clogg over the jump to begin his 19th lap. Off monitor, Kirtley has rolled it again in turn number 1. It has gone from bad to worse for the man from Virginia.
Thank you.
As Mertz has lapped Matty Grove in the 10th spot. Clogg 2nd. Palacio chasing down his teammate Sawyer. And these struggle bus cars, looks like it's the best battle that we have currently, as flicking through the field. Tofino had an issue in turn number 9. Struggle bus cars. Grove versus Cosgrove. Grove looks to driver's left to the outside of his teammate Cosgrove. Second in points, I remind you, is Cody Cosgrove, and he's way down the order in the 11th spot currently. Not a great day for the Canadian. Matty Grove in the 10th spot. So Jake Robichaux right behind his 2 teammates, and the Slapex cars not having a good day as they begin their 19th lap here in Bark River. We take a look again at Marcos Palacio and Bryan Sawyer as these two battling, still trying to take the spot. Sawyer 111.8 to a 111.9 for Palacio, 10th between them. And this is going to be a good battle for the last spot on the podium, I do believe. So we'll just have to wait and see. They begin their 20th lap. Kaplinger has had an issue in turn 1 from the 5th spot. He's got no pressure from Morissette in the 85, so he can recover the car and get back on track. Still Sawyer and Palacio, closest battle that we have currently on track. Mertz passes Basset to put him a lap down. Basset in the 9th spot in car number 2. And I know we can't capture it on our feed here. Mertz just thanking every car he passes, giving him some leeway and some room through the blue flags. As apparently the radio is working. Bryan Sawyer has crashed, and we get another giggle from Marcos Palacio in car number 83. As we just don't know what's happening here in NASA Rallycross like normal. But it's all good. It's all in good fun. Mertz leads Clog still. Running order has not changed, but Clog has been trying really hard to catch car number 1. Mertz in turn 7 now. Clog entering turn 6. The gap is shrinking slowly, but it's shrinking from the 1 to the 199. And car number 1 trying to put a lap down his title rival from 2012A all those years ago, Brandon Lambert. Lambert's first race back, like we mentioned. And we'll ride on board car number 1 and take another lap here in Bark River. Dubois comes across.
You. Don't do
Just look deep enough on my relative, that's all. As soon as I see him come around out of the
Car number
corner,
1.
I instantly just turned around and went right back to the grass as fast as possible.
Car number 1 not happy with Dubois. That could have been a race ender for the defending champion, as Dubois crashed from the 14th position. Clog still holds second. We have lost, it looks like, Eric Kaplinger on the 277 as his sim crashed. Not a good day for the man from Illinois. Second time this season he's had issues. He did have issues in Barcelona. Matty Grove has spun from the 11th position. And according to our estimation, we are taking 3 laps to go here in Bark River. And the defending champion holds the lead comfortably from Josh Clog. Clog second. Third is Palacio. 4th is Sawyer. As words are hard. Robbie Kirtley having terrible luck again. He was riding the berm through the final couple of corners. I almost thought he was going to put it into the fence, as he has not been friends with this turn 1 this evening, but he makes it good this time. And Sawyer was half a second up on Palacio that last time around. Morissette still sitting in the 5th position in the 85, despite being off strategy. Because I don't think we're going to have to pit again. So we'll just have to ride this out and see what happens. Clog pushing hard, 111.1. Mertz ran a 112.0 as Morissette passes Olivier Rateau in the 63. Grove passes Basset. That is for position. Crosgrove, I should say, in the 18. As these guys off the lead lap, battling for the 8th spot. Crosgrove has it at the line. They're in front of Eric Dubois in the 034. Car length between them and Crosgrove beginning to pull away. Another giggle from Palacio. Not sure what was happening there. Crosgrove holds the spot from Basset.
See that, Robbie?
Got you, bro.
Matty Grove in 10th, Clog in 2nd. Just taking a look through the field in the closing stages here in Bark River. Mertz has not gotten by Lambert yet in the 1 against the 46, and it looks like he will now. Lambert doesn't give him any room, and they come together over the jump. It's not the first time that's happened between them. We remember in 2012A in Valkenswaard, that very first championship decider. Mertz sent it to the inside of Lambert in turn 3, clobbered them both, him and Wetz out of the way. So it hasn't been the first time that has happened. We take the white flag for the defending champion, Josh Mertz, car number 1. Trying to get his 3rd victory on the season. And a day before the 3rd anniversary of his father's passing, who knows what this will mean to car number 1 to take the victory. Running order has not changed in the back of the field. Clog has clawed, hard to say that 3 times fast, around 5 seconds from car number 1's gap. But I don't think he's going to have enough time. Clog 2nd, Palacio holds 3rd. That running order has not changed. 1 car around, it's Olivier Rateau, gets hit by Lambert, and through the whoops for the final time. Heading to the jump in the final sector for the final time. Car number 1 had the qualifying ban coming into tonight's race in Bark River, made his way through heat number 2, started in the back again, and made his way through to the race lead very early on. Couple corners left. Clog tried his hardest, but I think it's all done and dusted for the defending champion.
I get you every day. Let's fucking go!
Win number 43 overall for the defending champion. His 3rd in lights, and he wins in Bark River. Josh Clog comes home in 2nd, 3rd consecutive podium, but it wasn't a 3rd consecutive win. Marcos Palacio had an absolute brawl with Bryan Sawyer, who flipped his car. We missed it off monitor, but the man from Wisconsin lost the battle for 3rd. Palacio clambers his way through the whoops, and the Argentine back on the podium in NASA Rallycross Lites, coming home in 3rd. Bryan Sawyer, like we mentioned, recovered from his incident to come home in the 4th spot. So a good day for the struggle bus in the team's championship. And Joey Morissette out-strategized the field and survived to come home in the 5th spot to give JC Simsport a pretty decent run in the feature race. He will come home in the 5th position. Gerald DeFino looks like he'll come home in the 6th spot, barring any terrible incidents. Matthew Basset has parked it in car number 2 as they're off the lead lap. As Joey Morissette was the last car on the lead lap. Mertz lapped through to 5th. As we take a look at the results, Mertz wins, Clog 2nd, Palacio 3rd, Sawyer, Morissette, the top 5, and the only cars on the lead lap. DeFino, Lambert, Crosgrove, Basset, and Grove, the top 10. DiGiacomo, Rateau, Dubois, Robichaux, Kirtley, the top 15. Kaplinger and Martel rounding out the order. As the JC Simsport cars burn it down, celebrating yet another win. The Drivers' Championship, 151 for Mertz, ahead of Crosgrove with 126. Palacio, 125, and Clog, 122. It's a great battle for 2nd in points, but the defending champion, 25 points ahead of his nearest rival. Bryan Sawyer rounds out the top 5 with 114 points. The team's championship Struggle Bus has increased their lead by 11 points, 251 to JC Simsports 240, Slapex 226, and 845 Subi had a great run compared to Zeem Setup Shop. They have 103 versus 92. A couple programming notes before we say goodnight here on the Automotive Sports Network. Round 8 of the Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge will be in Iowa Monday, August 7th, 9 p.m. Eastern on ASN Live. Myself, Cody Erdman, Philip Cross, Bryan Sawyer for that one. Round 3 of the Woven by Toyota NASA Sports Car Challenge will be at Circuit of the Americas August 10th on ASN Live, 9 p.m. Eastern. Myself, Justin Robichaux, Bryan Sawyer for that one. And then our 8th round for NASA Rallycross Lites in Iowa, Saturday, August 12th, ASN On Demand, 9 p.m. Eastern, myself and Bryan Sawyer for that one. Remember to like and subscribe if you like our content. We do have those streams on Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. As just a reminder, our coverage tonight brought to you by NordVPN for up to 63% off a 2-year plan. Visit nordvpn.com/ASNTVUSA. Also, our cameras for the entire season provided by TrackCams22.com. And finally, our intro music was produced by our very own Alex Abedi. If you like what you see and you'd like to participate, you can join us at nasasimracing.com. But the checkered flag falls on the evening. From all of us at the Automotive Sports Network, from Philip Kraus, Cody Erdman, Victor Valley, Justin Robichaux, Jess Rakowski, and Bryan Sawyer, my name is Josh Mertz, as we hope you enjoyed today's coverage of NASA Rallycross Lites tonight from Bark River. Be sure to join us Monday evening for Supercars in Iowa. But until then, so long, everyone.